What is up, everybody? It's your boy, the Don, the Godfather, future Hall of Famer, JD Legend here, giving you guys just a little summarization on my thoughts on Wano, the fight between Luffy and Kaido, and just a few predictions for what might happen next chapter. Now, guys, please don't be terrible in the comment sections. Don't tweet the spoilers. I know the spoilers are out already. We don't read spoilers. Obviously, I'm a reactor. So please be mindful. If what I'm saying is disproved next chapter, don't say anything. Don't say, oh my God, this is gonna age well. No, don't need it. Don't need it, guys. I'm just coming to you here, having a nice discussion about One Piece and my thoughts on what's been going on currently. And I can share with you at the moment, Wano has been, up and down for me for the most part. But one thing that I have truly enjoyed about this war arc, about Onigashima, about this arc in general, is Luffy versus Kaido, and in particular, Kaido. Kaido has been very impressive. Kaido has been everything I'd hoped he'd be. Kaido has shown the power, the strength, the character, and just the capabilities, the different fighting styles of someone who is allegedly land, sea, and air, who is 1v1, you're never gonna beat him. Which makes me think that the times Kaido has been taken down were never 1v1s. I wonder if we've ever thought about that. If it's a one-on-one, bet on Kaido. We haven't seen or heard any of the stories where Kaido has been beaten 1v1 by anyone. And people can point to Odin and say, Odin beat Kaido 1v1. No, he didn't. Let's look at the facts here. He cut him in dragon form, lasting cut. The damage. Kaido was like, oh man, my juices are pumping. I'm excited. We saw flirty Kaido, who's probably giving Odin that look like, oh, it's time, daddy. Okay, pause, obviously. But you know what I mean? Like, Kaido had that energy. So when he got up and he was interrupted in the middle of him about to get the peak of his fight, like getting the peak of his fighting capabilities, where he would go hybrid form, when he'd start using, I don't know if he knew future sight then, but all the capabilities in the bag that we're seeing with Kaido, it might be the case that he was ready to go all out with Odin. Like, he was ready, because one thing we know about Kaido is if he's in that dragon form, he's not going out. He's most likely sandbagging. Kaido wasn't even drunk. And from what we're seeing, we thought Kaido's alcoholism would be a nerf. That's not the case. Man's got a whole drunk fighting style, Rock Lee-esque. We're talking Mortal Kombat drunk fighter. Bro, it's very, very nice. I think it was Tekken, actually, but you can forgive me on that, guys. The fighting game buffs. But the point is that Kaido seems to enjoy the battle and get stronger as it continues. Because if you've noticed, between his fight with Luffy, just 1v1, Luffy gets an advantage. He gets advanced Conqueror's Haki. He starts learning how to dodge. He starts using Snake Man. He's throwing out his entire bag at Kaido. And he gets Kaido on the ropes for a little bit. And then Kaido gets more and more excited and folds Luffy again and again and again. And he gets more excited because Luffy comes back up and keeps giving him more damage, showing him newer techniques. And Kaido is getting more and more excited. And the more excited and battle drunk Kaido gets, the stronger he becomes. Which is why I think the notion of betting on Kaido 1v1, it's Kaido that's gonna win land, sea, and air, I think that's where that comes from. That's why Big Mom said, this guy is a creature. That's a monster. Because I'm sure Big Mom has fought Kaido, and she's seen the way Kaido gets excited when they fight, and Big Mom is strong enough to easily go toe to toe with Kaido. As we saw, they fought for a whole day. This is probably what Big Mom was talking about. This is the Kaido that Oda built up to be, and this is where I mentioned this. We had expectations for Kaido because of everything Oda built up with this character. And Oda has cashed in 100% from a fighting perspective with Kaido. Power scaling wise, fighting abilities, he's cashed in. He's cashed in. If Kaido goes down next chapter, or Kaido loses for whatever, it better be a power up for Luffy, of course, but we'll get to that. If Kaido just disappears next chapter, I will be 100% satisfied with Kaido's fighting capabilities. Without question, I'll be 100% satisfied. That last chapter was perfect for me. It showed me the repertoire. It showed me the levels of which a Yonko of Kaido's capabilities could get to. I needed to see that future sight thing. I didn't know I needed to see it until I saw it, and I'm like, that makes sense. It's Kaido. He's a Yonko. He should have future sight. It makes sense because Luffy has future sight. Katakuri has future sight. There's been theories that Aokiji When if you noticed, before Jozu hit him in Marineford, there was a quick split second. Now people may just call that regular observation haki, but then there was also a case where Whitebeard stabbed Aokiji and he had already turned his middle body into ice to block that attack. And we know Whitebeard uses haki. We know he uses haki. So it's probably a case where he pulled a Katakuri with Future Sight, turned that inside area of his body into ice, and beat the attack. So it could be a case where all the admirals have Future Sight. Now, I don't want to just spam Future Sight everywhere, but it's a possibility. And the point of this is to say, Kaido having Future Sight makes sense. I'm happy he has it. It's not an insult to Katakuri. It's actually a credit to Katakuri for someone like him to have a level of capability with observation haki that people like Yonkos, people like Luffy, the MC are using. It's a high bar. It's a high bar to meet, and it's great to see with Kaido. Now, what we saw with the CP0 agent intervening, people are saying, oh, but this is cheap. Why would that happen? You know, and Oda did build it up last chapter, and maybe it's not built up long enough for you guys, but to be honest with you, CP0 is always going to have a hand in this. They were always going to do something to undermine this mission. Obviously, we have Drake, Izo. These are minor characters. This is a major event. CP0 should be involved in this. So I'm happy about that. I'm not bothered by that. I think it's poetic that Luffy going out the same way Odin did. I mean, it's poetic. It's painful for Kaido. It's the pain he needs because he's good. I mean, that CP0 agent, God bless him. Whatever happens to him, I've already created a gravestone. I've already set up the funeral preparations. He's not making it out. Kaido's not gonna make. Kaido killed that old lady. He's not gonna let this man leave. He's dying. Unless Luffy, which we'll get to this now, unless this is a case where Oda haki blooms, does another haki bloom or whatever, or it's a case where we have Awakening. Maybe Awakening comes out of this. A lot of people are predicting Gear 5 or Awakening. I think it's one of those two at this point. Whatever happens, if Luffy is not out, which I would ideally like Luffy to be out here, I think it would be great for the story, but if Luffy is not out and it's Awakening or Gear 5, Awakening is a possibility, which would be interesting because then Oda can do anything. Now, a lot of people are predicting with the Paramecias. We've seen the special Paramecia that Katakuri is, the Paramecia that Doflamingo is. It could be a case where Luffy creates a rubber world or something like that. That could be interesting. And then he infuses that with haki and all kinds of crazy things. You never know, right? Doflamingo used haki on his Awakening. Katakuri used haki in his Awakening, I think. I don't know. We can double check, but we know Duffy did for sure. So if we see Rubber World Luffy, that's interesting. How will that take down Kaido, considering Kaido just seems to take everything anyway? We'll have to wait and see. Those are the possibilities of Luffy getting up. So again, that's the only way the CP0 guy makes it out of this, if Luffy gets back up. Because if he doesn't, he's finished. Now, the ending of this fight. How is it going to end? Honestly, I think Oda has made Kaido as strong as we all thought he would be. So in order for Luffy to beat him, it cannot just be with Gear 4th. I have to reiterate this. It cannot just be with Gear 4th, and I promise you, if it is just Gear 4th, it won't be good. It won't be. Unless, again, people are mentioning Kaido's suicide. He's been trying to kill himself for so long. I don't see why it would happen now unless Luffy has damaged him to the point where he can actually harm himself. That's also a case. But we still have to wait and see. These are all just wait and see predictions and whatnot of that nature. But again, this is one of my favorite parts of the entire arc of Onigashima in itself, and it's not just because of the meat had action, but it's because of the expectations I had for Kaido and his fight. And we still need the backstory, which is crazy. We have the backstory that's coming up for Kaido. It has to happen at some point. I pray it's not bad. I just don't feel like Oda can mess up Kaido's backstory, considering what we got with the Joy Boy and the King stuff and him running into King and the nature, the hardy nature of Kaido, him having flashbacks about, you know, Big Mommy. We're not going to talk about Big Mommy. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But again, Kaido has the potential to easily be the best villain in the series if he is not already. Obviously, Blackbeard pending. But this is really, really good stuff that I'm really clinging on to, because these are one of the things that I'm really clinging on to with Onigashima, because I'll be honest, you know, the Raizo and Fukuro-Kujo fight was a waste of time, in my opinion. It was a severe waste of time. I think a lot of the fights have been lackluster. You know, you look at Frankie and Sasuke. I liked page 1, but he kind of just got folded like a lawn chair by Big Mom. Who's Who was interesting, but I felt that there was more to be exposed in that fight. You know, he kind of just talked about some lore and Nika and then just died. He's just not here anymore. Like, we haven't seen Who's Who again either. And it would have been nice to see more of a fleshed out Jinbei fight. I know we're just asking for a lot of things, but these are just me sharing my thoughts with you guys. This is a channel where I share my thoughts with you. I am not an over analyzer. It's not gonna happen. So please don't have those expectations of me. I'm sharing my thoughts here. And then again, you know, Drake has been pretty lackluster. Honestly, Drake has been a disappointment. I'll be real. Hawkins versus Killer was nice to see. Kid and Law versus Big Mom was fine. We like that. You know, Law was sensational for the most part. But overall, with this Onigashima arc, it's been up and down for me. The Momo stuff, again, it seems like Oda's just throwing more carrots for us to try and chase. So I'm waiting for Oda to cash in on that, but it looks like that's going to carry on with the missing pages in the Odin logbook. That's still going on. The Yamato plotline, again, it was nice seeing Yamato's backstory with Kaido, Yamato versus Kaido, but it seems like Yamato's kind of just taking a backseat of just running around and trying to prevent things from happening. Again, hasn't really caught my interest per se. You know, there are a lot of things that I can share about my thoughts of Wano, but I just wanted to give you guys a little update before the next chapter because I do know it's going to be a big one. So we'll see where that happens. Maybe the chapter will come out early. If not, it'll come out Friday. And then I think after next chapter, if we have a break, I will give you guys maybe a stream of just a long discussion about Wano and where we're at. You know, I think that's something that we can do. So if you guys would be interested in that, let me know in the comment sections. But for now, that's all my thoughts, and I will catch you guys later. I'm out. Take care. Yo everybody, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe here to get the latest from the channel, or also check out some other videos that might suit your specific tastes.